Being a YouTuber who covers video games is very weird. A normal person who doesn't like a video game just puts it down and moves on to another game, but normally I feel challenged to finish a game once I've started, pretty much for the sake of some imaginary video that may exist via the game's eventual completion. Then there are simply games we invest lots of time into or have had every intention of finishing, but somehow the ending credits never saw the light of day. These games eventually end up in a place called the Dropped List, and this place is basically a trash bin and/or graveyard that games may lay in for months or years until they're eventually either forgotten about or brought back to the light of day via the gods, blessing it with another attempt at being finished. So in that way, every video game is like a challenge, and even as a kid, I hated to see my games on the shelf not being finished when I spent my money on them, and as an adult, when I don't finish games, I don't get to do a video, so it feels like double the dose of incompletion. So I thought to myself, maybe I should document these games. Not every game I never completed. God no, that'd be way too long talking about garbage. Too many rented games. Too many, let's be honest, games I'm never going to play again. However, I could make a list of games I have every intention of beating still, and might be convinced to come back to one day. I'd say that would be interesting, and that's what I'm here to do today. So let's do it. 25 games I've never finished, and here's why, and these are in no particular order. Number 1, Final Fantasy 15. So I'm pretty sure if more people made lists like these, at least everyone would have at least one big JRPG that they invested way too many hours into, and yet they never saw the ending to. Final Fantasy 15 was a game I made it a third of the way through, but actually found time to do the stupid things in video games like explore, do dumb side quests, or just kick it with my broskies as we're driving, listen to old Final Fantasy soundtracks. But despite that, I mysteriously entered an underground/underwater level, which made no sense, and it turns out I am very quick to drop games once I enter underwater levels. Number 2, every Telltale game I've ever given up on. I don't know how Telltale went from giving me one of the best story-driven casual games of my existence to a company that puts out games I only play when my brain is so exhausted I don't want to press too many buttons. Despite every Telltale game being a casual game, they put out enough games that if a casual gamer wanted to continue playing them, they would have to exclusively play Telltale games. Due to the oversaturation of these games, I never got around to finishing Walking Dead Michonne, Batman Season 2, the Game of Thrones game. I played a little bit of Walking Dead Season 3, never finished it, and something tells me it's gonna be a while before I get to any of these. Number 3, Saints Row. A little while ago, I wanted to replay all the Saints Row games. I never actually had played the first one, despite really enjoying the second and third game, and the fourth game I just haven't played yet. As it turns out, that might have been a blessing because playing the first installment of Saints Row was probably the hardest flashback to what the worst parts of gaming were before they took themselves way too seriously like they do nowadays. Saints Row basically stole that Grand Theft Auto formula, and they took the worst parts of those games to create this. The very clunky style of these games and the over-the-top disgusting moments from the dialogue. There's a lot of screaming, there's a lot of terrible writing filled with mind-numbing quotes, and lots of terrible graphics of women trying to be sexy, which the farther away we get from those years, the more that those scenes are gonna be really fucking weird and gross. But despite taking all of that from GTA, they somehow didn't take the social commentary that comes with those games and the parody of society that those games are able to create. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get around to playing all the Saints Row games anytime soon. Joke's on you, we're still alive. Number 4, Batman Arkham Knight. I love the Batman games. Arkham Origins and Asylum were both really fun games with really great moments, but Arkham City was where it culminated in this beautiful project that hit all the right beats. Arkham Knight, I missed the train on, but once it became cheap, I went out and I bought it. I gave it a shot, and it just didn't feel like the same Batman games I loved before. I was just in the mood to punch a lot of dudes and fly around the city in my bat gear, but the next moment after that, I was driving the most infuriating vehicle I've ever driven. Did I mention I don't like driving in video games? So yeah, I'm probably not coming back to Arkham Knight, but I'll have to get over a big red flag if I do. Number 5, Halo 2. I tried getting into Halo. I've done this for plenty of series, and a lot of these series, Max Payne, Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed, all the cool hip first-person shooters, many, many more. However, Halo was the one series I actually persevered. I got through the first Halo game, despite it not being that great for me. However, when I played Halo 2, I was enjoying it considerably more. However, I needed a co-op partner to play the game with, but due to scheduling issues, I was never able to do that. However, my girlfriend is a big fucking Halo fan, so I'm sure sooner or later we're going to end up playing Halo 2. Number 6, The Darkness 2. I remember my 17th birthday really well. At 17, you can't do many things, but you can buy an M-rated video game. So my first trip at GameStop as a 17-year-old, I went and picked up The Darkness 2, the most edgy, bloody game I saw on that shelf. And since I played the first game and I enjoyed it, I thought to myself, man, The Darkness 2 is going to be so dope. This is going to be the first game I'm able to actually binge through, and I don't know how long. And then, later that day, I received a PS4 and a copy of Infamous Second Son. So it turns out that that ended up being the game I would binge, and hopefully The Darkness 2 will see the light of day in my playing list after that crazy interception. Number 7, Paper Mario. So, I was an asshole as a little kid. My brother, who was a much better video gamer, he often was able to get to the end of the games, and I usually got stuck at the beginning, and I would have to keep restarting the video games. And I was so addicted to doing this that sometimes I would even accidentally delete the profiles of my brother. And one of those profiles was for Paper Mario, a game I have still yet to beat. And so part of me wants to reach that game's ending just for the sake of not feeling like an asshole forever. Number 8, BioShock Infinite. I love the first BioShock games. However, I didn't love them enough apparently, because some people out there are obsessed with these games. I don't think they're the best games of all time. I gave both games an 8 out of 10. So when BioShock Infinite became the new hot game of the day, I went in skeptical, and it felt exactly like I was expecting, and that's not what I wanted. It's weird because games are something that can take weeks to complete, and what you want to play varies on your mood, so sometimes just going through the same story when you're not in the mood for it just feels very tedious, and that's what ended up happening between me and BioShock Infinite. Disclaimer! Number 9, Final Fantasy 13. I was such a terrible young gamer. I didn't play any of the cool classic games out there, and so I felt guilty for not playing a Final Fantasy game before, so I turned on Final Fantasy 13. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Not a clue. I thought I had to play all 12 other games maybe to understand what the fuck was going on. I just needed to find a Final Fantasy game that was better suited for me, and that's what happened, and I'm happy I didn't waste all those hours playing shitty ass Final Fantasy 13. Number 10, Oblivion, and if you feel like it, you can throw in Morrowind. Morrowind, however, just hurts my brain by looking at it, so I don't think I'm gonna play that one. But Oblivion, I have done everything in Oblivion. I've done the Thieves Guild, I've done the Dark Brotherhood, the Citadel, most things I should say. But I never finished the main story. I remember I just got stuck at one point in my main playthrough, and all the other times I've played this game, I never got that far. So I've really never finished this game that I feel like is a staple of my gaming history. and yet I have no idea how it ends. This is something I would like to change one day. Number 11, Resident Evil. So I tried to play this game and I realized I'm an impatient millennial who is too willing to look up how to get through video game puzzles online. I've tried getting through this game twice since then, and I have yet to make it more than an hour and a half in, so yeah, the story here is I suck at video games.
So would you take me home?
Number 12, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. There's a lot of Zelda games I want to go back and play till the end, but Majora's Mask is at the top of that list because this is actually the first game I ever played. And when I say that, I actually mean this is like the first game. Like the oldest as my gaming memories go, like the first game I can remember is Majora's Mask. And despite that, I was, you know, a dumb kid. And as most dumb kids do, I never finished this game because maybe it had too complex of mechanics for my feeble mind. Hopefully my mind is not feeble anymore and I will be able to complete Majora's Mask without, I don't know, just blowing up my brain. Number 13, Sly Cooper 2 Band of Thieves. I actually platinumed the first Sly Cooper game, and I played the shit out of the third game, so it's weird I never finished the second one. Despite I played like 80% of this game, my PS2 disc suddenly developed a case of scratched way the hell up, and I wasn't able to play a certain section of the game. So I never got to see how any of the cool stuff that happened at the ending happened. I would like to change that soon, though. Number 14, Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is the perfect edgelord blood mess of a game that I would have loved at 13. However, I didn't get around to playing this game till later in my high school career. And the third game I tried playing, didn't really get into that one. So somehow this entire series has been left in the graveyard where all the edgelords hang out, unfortunately. Number 15, most of the Rockstar games. I'm talking Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, GTA 5, LA Noire, Red Dead Redemption. All of these games follow that Rockstar formula. And I was able to play through GTA 4, even if I didn't love it, and I thought Bully was a great game, but somehow every other Rockstar game I never fully connected with. Most of these games just feature characters I don't care about and stories I don't find inviting. Especially since most of the characters in this world are just assholes, and it usually just leads to dumb dialogue and like very mean characters. So I hope that I can play one of these games, but I don't know if they're my kind of game. Number 16, The Last Guardian and Eco. After playing Shadow of the Colossus and quickly throwing it on my favorite games of all time, I was that much more excited to blow through Team Eco's discography. As it turns out, their other games are a bit more different than Shadow of the Colossus. Although these games were artful and showed signs of brilliance, I never felt that it factor that I had to keep playing. And that's exactly what happened. I just stopped playing them.
I was later congregating next to the refrigerator.
Number 17, Ratchet and Clank. I loved Ratchet and Clank as a kid. It turns out you can only rent a game so many times, and by the time I owned this game, I just drifted apart from it. Since then, apparently, they've put out a lot of cool games, so that just makes me want to come back all the more. Hopefully, I'll pick up the remasters of these games soon.
We were staying in Paris.
Number 18, Sonic Adventure 1. I played a lot of Sonic Adventure 2. It's a great game, and the Chow Garden is amazing, but it seemed my love for Sonic ended the moment I branched out of this series. I played through Shadow the Hedgehog. It was bad. I couldn't get through a bunch of other Sonic games I tried to play, and after that I just stopped trying. And now that Sonic fan fiction and this giant stack of games I'll never play are what I'm associating this blue hedgehog with, I'm finding my desire to play the first game farther and farther away, but I do always think that is an aspiration due to my love for the second one.
I'ma tell you what the business is.
Number 19, Horizon Zero Dawn. I loved what I've played of this game so far. As it turns out, just being an adult whose attention floats around like a balloon, even games I'm enjoying the fuck out of might just get left off of my radar. And I know I'll play this game again soon, I just gotta figure out when. Number 20, most of the Super Mario games. I haven't finished a single Super Mario game. This is one of my great sins as a gamer. Hopefully you guys can forgive me. But it's actually not from lack of trying. I played Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, play a little bit of the original games, and I tried to play Super Mario Galaxy. But other than Galaxy and 64, I didn't feel that real connection. But with 64 and Galaxy, I really want to return to both of those. Hopefully I can, if at all.
There's a sea of neon light.
Number 21, Borderlands. And I love the aesthetic of these games. Unfortunately, I struggle to actually play them. I tried playing by myself and I couldn't find it in me to keep going. And then I was told, oh, that's the wrong way to play. You gotta play with, a group of people. So I grabbed my friend who was a fan of the series and we tried to play these games, but he was very focused on how much better the second game was. So much to the fact that I think that's the reason we both lost interest and I never got to finish Borderlands. It just got lost in the sauce. Number 22, Donkey Kong 64. I've played a lot of this game, or at least the first couple hours of this game I've played a lot of, at least like 10 times. But as this game expands, my desire for it always seems to leave as soon as it does. I feel like there's a great game in here and I just need to finish it, especially since I deleted my brother's profile of this game too. It's definitely something I hope to do before I die. Number 23, Jak 2. I love the first Jak and Dexter game for being a fluid, bright, fun adventure. The second game is not that, but it still seemed worth playing, so I hope I can play it one day. Number 24, the Dragon Ball Xenoverse game. I know the story of Dragon Ball to the point I certainly don't need to still be playing the stories of these games. And I'm not in love with the Xenoverse fighting style, especially since I think games like Raging Blast just kinda have better fighting mechanics. But I know despite these things, I should have played both of the Dragon Ball Xenoverse games by now. I've gotten a couple hours into the first and second one, but neither grabbed me like it would have back when I was a teenager and I was obsessed with Dragon Ball. I know a much younger me hates me for not completing these games, so hopefully I can change that one day. Number 25, every Assassin's Creed game. I tried to play the first 2 Assassin's Creed games about 3 times each. I've dabbled in a couple of the other games, but despite all of this, I never finished any of these games. A part of me really doesn't care though. These just don't seem like my kind of games. But since these games are so ingrained into gaming history, at this point a part of me says, as long as I just play one of them, I can say I've done it, and maybe one of them will interest me enough to the point of another completion. Anyway, goddamn, that was 25 games I have never finished because I am a failure even at virtual life. Here are some quick honorable mentions. I never played Dishonored, Dark Souls, Lost Odyssey, Destroy All Humans, Spyro, Dragon Age, Silent Hill, Tomb Raider, Pikmin 2, Dead Space, GoldenEye, and probably a lot of other games. These games all easily could have been on this list. How about you guys? What are some games you've never completed? What are your shortcomings as a gamer? What are some games you've dumped lots of hours into just to end up with no satisfaction? Leave your emotions in the comments down below. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. As always, you can hit up the comments down below if you are trying to join this beautiful community. You can pick on my other... Did I just say pick on? Yes, you can pick on my other videos if you would like to enjoy more of this beautiful, juicy content. And until next time, that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching again. And until then, with that, I leave you.